Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to another trading session. Well, it is Friday. The end of the week is really here right now. So I hope you had a great week so far, and I hope that your weekend will be even better. So it's quite rainy here in Portugal, I believe. It will stay that way during the weekend, but yeah, it is what it is. So more time that we have to stay at home and check the charts. So, I mean, let's get straight to the charts and see what we can eventually do here today, because yeah, we moved a lot since yesterday. Honestly, looking at this action here, we moved a lot. We moved quite a lot. Yeah, yesterday we managed to get out of drawdown. I had the idea for price to go lower, try the first first shot here, but it didn't work. Should have waited a little bit more. Then at some point I thought I was wrong and tried a long, got stopped out. I mean, I cut that with a small cut, and then went short and managed to take a profit around here and close the full position here down below, just right at the end of the New York AM session. Then price came a little bit lower, eventually started to accumulate, and the action started right after Asia. So this end walk, we traded it below. We never price was never able to go above its midpoint once again. Then we traded below once again. Price kind of retested the end walk, and then we start to move lower during all London and eventually during pre-market as well. So what can we expect now? As usual, these levels right here, these percentage levels, these are the daily wick. I mean, I think that's the daily. Yeah, that's this daily wick that you can see here. Since price is just exploring all these levels, all these quadrants, I want to see where it wants to stop and eventually reverse, or if it wants to go all the way down and eventually go for this end walk that we have here, this lower end walk, and eventually the next wick that is right here. So zooming in and marking the 930 open here. Let's just mark the 930 candle. 930. There we go. 930, 830 candle. So as you can see, price has been moving down. It retested the top of the wick, but it kind of rejected it. Then we spent some time here at the first quadrant, but price came down straight to the last quadrant of the wick. So now we are retesting once again the last quadrant of the wick, and below the last quadrant of the wick, what do we have? We have the bottom of it and previous week's low on ES. I believe NQ already took this level. So right now we have some sort of an SMT. And yeah, I would say that previous week's low on ES is my low-hanging fruit here. So I would like to see price taking out this low on ES. So I believe we will probably trade towards this low, while NQ is eventually trading even lower, probably towards the 17th of October low. That's a bit stretchy, but I don't know if it will happen today. But since the market is so heavy right now, it might happen. So we have to take that in mind. So straight move to the downside, just like yesterday on ES. So no possible entry here for me. This this line that you see here is a small NWOG that I noted here, and eventually we have a lower NWOG as well here, which is the big one. I just want to mark one more thing here before zooming in once again. I want to mark the event horizon because price can eventually stop there as well. So this is the path in between those two NWOGs. So event horizon here. So let's see. There's a possibility that price can eventually try to go for a retrace as a thank God it's Friday setup. But yeah, I tend to see that those setups usually take place on a New York PM session and not on the New York AM session. So I will still consider it, but usually it happens on the PM session and not on the AM session. So first presented fair value gap here. Yeah, this is the first presented fair value gap. Let's see if price really respects it. If so, we might see a drive lower towards previous week's low on ES, which is about 20 handles away. If we are able to trade above it and eventually reclaim this quadrant, then we might eventually consider that thank God it's Friday setup. But at this point, I'm more inclined for sell side liquidity here. So what about you guys? What do you guys think about what the market is going to do today? Are you waiting for some longs on a thank God it's Friday setup? Or do you believe we will still go lower? Because so far seems like a good reaction on price or a move higher because we have these pre-market low highs here. Damn. And we are pushing here. So yeah, these are the pre-market, these relative equal highs here. I will mark them as relative equal highs. Or eventually pre-market highs. Well, today I'm not in a rush to get into something. Oops. I'm sorry, guys. I just clicked here. There we go. Back to the charts. So yeah, this was a nice reaction here from the first presented fair value gap. Same reaction on NQ as well. I would say it's NQ is it might be the strongest. Let me just check. It is indeed. YM doing its own thing like it is usual. Let me just check where YM is in terms of liquidity. Okay. So M and Q. Just let me check M and Q as well. Yeah, we took out this low. So there's a big SMT in between M and Q and ES right now. So notice that we have a flat candle here on the 4-hour, the 1-hour, and the 15-minute, which can eventually be used as a drawn liquidity as well. So if price maintains this run after taking these highs, it would be a good sign. So very aggressive opening. We have 9:30 open, 8:30 open. They can eventually act as support. We have the breaker here. So let's see if price really trades into the breaker after taking out these relative equal highs. We have this analog as well. So price now getting inside the breaker. Nice reaction from the breaker. I'm just watching if this will hold or price wants to go a little bit lower. But it seems it will hold. Nice reaction here from the breaker. It could have been our entry around here. Aiming for this fair value gap, this high, the next end walk. But let me just check these candle sizes. I believe they are pretty large. Yes, they are. So if I had to take a sheesh. Yeah, this is a quite volatile environment here. If I had to take anything, these stops, yeah, pretty big stops. I will wait. So for a bullish movement, this is the type of candle that you don't want to see. But let's see if it's just another retrace inside a breaker. It can be. Hello, Pablo. How you doing? I'm fine. How about you? I'm fine, but a lot of rain here in Portugal. I guess one more storm. We had one more storm here. Still looking bearish, yeah. I was interested in previous week's low on ES, honestly. But with a large movement to the upside like this, nah, it kind of invalidate my previous week's low as drawn liquidity. So now I want to see if we will eventually move higher towards the Zenwag and towards the 1 hour fair value gap just to move lower. I will probably not participate in this move to the upside because honestly, I need to have a really big stop here because yeah, it's permissible for price to come around 8:30 or 9:30, and even first presented fair value gap. But I would not expect that, but um, just in case. So a 15 handle stop loss, it's quite big here. That would allow me to trade about, I don't know, just 2 micros. So I don't think that's worthy. Yeah, Madrid is raining too. Yeah, it rained heavy, honestly, during all night. We had a lot of floods. Not here where I live, but uh, near Lisbon and Algarve, I believe. Well, so far the bullish narrative is playing out. I believe this move would make about to this fair value gap. It would make about 20 to 30% retrace to of the weekly wick of the weekly range. So it would go for the thank God it's Friday setup. But honestly, I really don't like how large these stops had to be. But really nice movement there. Really nice movement here. The breaker was respected to the tick. Price was not able to close inside of it. And now let's see if the sandwalk will act as a resistance or if price will really attack this flat candle that we have on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the 15 minute. So it might be a big draw on liquidity here. Let me switch to the 2 minute here just to yeah, a clean move to the upside, honestly. Very bullish. Well, there's nothing we can do here besides just watching it, because thank God it's Friday is really delivering here. It was really an opportunity here to get in. So we took out these relative equal highs here. And now let's see if price just has more strength to the upside. I believe so, but let's just see. On NQ, price went a little bit higher. It retraced a little bit higher. Yeah, Pablo, you're referring to 6653, which is the previous week's low, right? I believe. Yeah. Let's see if we will have the reversal now inside a macro. Because we went for the sand walk in terms of, thank God it's Friday, it's really done here. We can eventually exhaust a little bit more to the upside, but the TGIF setup is really done here. We can eventually continue a little bit lower because we are now inside of a N walk. If we lose that N walk, and if we lose that 50% of the daily wick, we might go lower. But yeah, this was a very fast movement to the upside here. Very quick movement. And then Q is still pushing here. So we might go for the flat candle here on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and the 15 minutes. Maybe we don't get that reversal. Yeah, I was aiming for that Friday low as well. But yeah, seems like ES didn't need it to be taken. But we took it on NQ. So right now there's a huge SMT. I believe there's an SMT on the daily right now. Yes, it is. So if we close like that, I'm not sure, but if we close like that, with an SMT on the lows, I think it's too early to say that the retrace is done here on indices, but let's wait. So NQ is really approaching the flat candle. NQ is almost here already. Let me just check what YM is doing, just for curiosity. Yeah, it's just in its own world. So NQ already took that flat candle. Yeah, we'll wait for 10 a.m. as well. Still waiting for that 10:50 macro reversal, if it will happen or not. We shall see. Yeah, but that 9:30 move, yeah, I believe that was too quick for me, honestly. I usually don't tend to open positions right at the open like this. I usually tend to wait a little bit. I'm more comfortable with that, waiting for the market to give me something, and not acting as a reaction to what the first minutes are doing. So, and the sun went off again. So the sun disappeared once again here. I guess more rain is coming. But yeah, price is still moving to the upside here. Let's see if we can eventually go above that 1 hour fair value gap. NQ already trespassing it, so let's see if the same will happen here on ES. Seems like it, but I don't know. Let me just take a look at the, I don't know why. Oh, okay. Let me take a look at, yeah, we had a bullish fair value gap here. On the 4 hour, yeah, we had nothing. Let me just take a look at NQ. Okay, we had this one right here on NQ. Okay, seems a bit more logical now. Kind of missed this level on NQ because we didn't have this on ES. So price was not able to close below the 50%. Let me just see how this looks like on the 1 minute. Yeah, looks very clean on the 1 minute, as you can see here. So this is the 1 hour fair value gap. We traded right at the open towards the midpoint, but then we reacted quite quickly, inverting the first presented fair value gap, and then boom. Okay, seems fair. So 10 a.m. candle right now. Let's just wait to see what this is going to offer us. So we traded into a midpoint of this bearish fair value gap on ES. We have this N walk that can eventually act as support right inside and below this 1 hour fair value gap. So at this point, for something bearish, I would like to see price trade below the N walk, probably. But since we are opening the 10 a.m. candle with a downwards move, this might be the open low, close high. Unless this was just a bearish order block and we will move lower. That can actually happen as well. Well, in terms of timing, the timing is almost perfect. So we are inside of the macro. We did not manage to move higher than the midpoint of this bearish fair value gap. Is this the 10 a.m. candle? Yeah, the 10 a.m. candle just, it didn't take out liquidity from the last one. Kind of tricky. I believe we will go up once again, probably, to take out these highs. And then let's see if it will continue or not. Because right now for a short, it's not doing what I would like to see, especially on the high time frames where on ES and NQ we did not take the 15-minute high, the 1 hour high, and the 4 hour, I believe. Let me just check. Yeah, we did not take the 4 hour as well. But we might go lower from here. I kind of liked this candle here, respecting this bearish fair value gap inside the hourly fair value gap. Yeah, it's pouring rain right now. Yeah, glad I did not interacted with this on a short way. Nice bullish reaction here. Very nice bullish reaction. So we took out the 10 a.m. candle high. And now let's see if price really wants to go lower from here, or if we just continue shoot to the upside. Yo, good morning, Francisco. How you doing today? Yeah, the long entry was too aggressive for me, honestly. And it was minutes after the open, and I usually don't like to trade right after the open. So I kind of saw a price here when it was retesting the breaker. I even opened my size calculator, but then I decided to stay away from it because honestly, I would like to see previous week's low taken on ES still. So I'm not sure if we will eventually do that typical 10 a.m. reversal. Because on the high time frames, if you look into the 1 hour, this can be just a bearish order block that we will form, and we might trade lower. I don't know. I guess things will eventually develop in the next couple of minutes here. Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that SMT. We have a big SMT right now. We have an SMT on the 4 hour, on the daily, on the hourly. So yeah, that's why I'm inclined to shorts, but not that inclined, you know. My initial bias was kind of short, and I would only change my short bias if we have driven directly to previous week's low on ES. But since we have an SMT right now, um, I might have to switch for a bullish bias, because at the same time there's a lot of liquidity still here, especially on ES. We still have that 4 hour flat candle, 1 hour flat candle, 15-minute flat candle, just right above us. And at this point, we have London highs, midnight open that usually acts as a magnet on price as well. We are supporting inverting this end wog. So yeah, a lot of things are leaning to a bullish side right now. So I would only be bearish if we lose this end wog, and if price is not able to go above the 50% of this bearish fair value gap. So um, I would only turn bearish if we see something like this. Price is really trying here, but is not able. Then it will displace us down, retest, and lower. And that would form on the high time frames a bearish order block as well. But yeah, it can eventually do something like this as well. So yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying, because at this point, yeah, these London highs, and especially midnight open and this flat candle, seems like a nice drawn liquidity as well. Just let me take a look at what the stocks are doing as well. Mm. Let me take a look at the 15 minutes. Well, so far we are losing the 1 hour fair value gap, we are trying to trade below the analog. And here we have the midpoint of that daily wick. So if we really lose these levels, but this can eventually be some sort of a manipulation as well, because price is accumulating here, manipulation to the downside just to go and continue to the upside. So yeah, you are watching this, right? So accumulation, manipulation lower, inversion for value gap somewhere around here, and price continues to climb to the upside. Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah, but at the same time, looking at the 15 minutes, I'm afraid that we will be stuck here for a while in this accumulation because we already expanded. So we might end up consolidating for a while. And I hate to be stuck inside of consolidations, honestly. Yeah, so far, nice move to the upside. So we'll move this lower. And now let's see if we will have some follow through here. Because right now we have a breaker. Yeah, we can consider this as a breaker. We'll move it a little bit higher towards that candle. Yeah, this feels like a tricky spot here, honestly. But on the other hand, this might be legit towards midnight open and towards London highs. Yeah, I didn't take anything yet. Just just watching for now. So price is now touching the breaker. The body closed outside the breaker. So yeah, nice reaction here. Let's see if this has some follow through, or because watching NQ is a little bit weaker here. Yeah, but this might be the setup. But I just don't like the way um, NQ is trading right now. Just losing some steam here. And NQ being the stronger one. As I was saying, NQ being the stronger one, I don't want it to lose some steam here. But yeah, I like the way we traded here on ES, especially on ES. Bodies are starting to close above the midpoint of this fair value gap as well. Hmm? Okay. Yeah, yes, moving once again to the downside here, while he was pushing a little bit lower. Yeah, that this is what I was afraid of. But I kind of like how we traded into the midpoint and was not able to close below it. So at this point, I will wait. There we go. Yeah, I'm just doing that exercise, which is asking myself if I would be surprised if my stop got hit here. And the answer is I wouldn't be that surprised. So that's why I'm not taking anything. Um yeah, internally I'm doing that exercise. Asking myself if I would be surprised if my stop got hit here. And the answer is I would not be that surprised, honestly. And that's why I decided to not open anything. Because usually whenever we have an answer that is, yeah, I would be hella surprised if my stop got hit here. Uh, that would be a good answer to that question, and not okay. I probably wouldn't be surprised. So let's wait. Price is still accumulating here. So just inside the breaker. But I just don't like how I just don't like how price is not able to close above this midpoint of the bearish fair value gap. Seems to me it's showing me some weakness. And yeah, and looking at the 15-minute, we can spend some time here, and I'm not willing to spend that mental capital inside of a accumulation, honestly. But yeah, nice reaction here. Nice reaction. Price went down, almost stopping this paper position here, almost stopping us. I had the stop right below this candle, and it kind of survived and boom to the upside. But tricky action here. And now it's just displacing and moving without us. So you're waiting for the 15-minute fair value gap. Yeah, at this point, I'm not sure if you will get it, Nasish. Yeah, this is London highs here. So the flat candle here is is acting as a drawn liquidity right now. Well, at this point, it seems clear that price wants London highs, eventually this analog as well. And if we look a little bit further, we have Asia highs as well. So these highs here are quite juicy. They are all relative equal highs. So in my offer is, since we already moved out of the bearish 1 hour fair value gap, if we can stay above it, or at least at the upper half of it, I believe we will move a little bit higher. Midnight open usually is that magnetron price as well, so it's kind of interesting that price consolidated. It was not able to close below the midpoint of the daily wick, and it went straight for the next quadrant of the daily wick as well. And yeah, it kind of stopped right at it, right at the last quadrant of it. It respected it to the tick. So zooming out a little bit and giving some more attention on this. I will put this in a bolder. So yeah, price respected the top of the wick, traded down. It spent a lot of time in the first quadrant, but then it came right directly to the last quadrant of it. The open manipulated below it and then moved in a single move to the upside towards the midpoint of the daily wick, retraced back into it, moved to the next quadrant, and we will probably head towards the top of the wick now. Because usually when when the last quadrants of any type of gap or PD array or whatever, whenever the 70% of it is tested, it usually tends to test the full size of it. So we should eventually expect a move higher here. So I guess my bias for today's price action, which was previous week's low, wasn't that accurate, because I was expecting a move lower towards previous week's low right at the open, and then a move towards something like a thank God it's Friday setup. But yeah, we left previous week's low on ES. We took it on NQ, but ES left it out and we moved higher. So price came once again for the midpoint of this bullish fair value gap here. I kind of respected it. So this is the last portion of the 1 hour bearish fair value gap here. But yeah, I'm expecting it to at least until midnight open. And since London highs are just some handles away from it, I expect it to go for London highs as well. So this here could eventually, but in terms of risk to reward, this one could eventually be not that enticing. And since the order block is right here, we should give it some space to eventually come for at least 50% of the order block. So the stop would be huge. So we'll just put these levels a little bit more to the right, just so we can see them. So yeah, I believe the main entry, if for those who don't like to, just like me, who don't like to trade right at the beginning of the open, right in the first minutes of the open, I guess the entry was around here whenever price came for this breaker. Um, it would have been it would have been a tough one because we would have went in quite a drawdown before heading to the upside, but it would have worked. It would have worked. So there we go. Midnight open will eventually present itself like the next draw, followed by London highs. Very nice delivery since we left out the breaker here. It kind of respected this fair value gap to the tick and is now moving towards midnight open. Let me just take a look at the higher time frames just to see the looks of it. Yeah, at this point, Asia highs, they seem very juicy at this point as well. You know, just watching the 15-minute here. Buy side of the curve, sell side of the curve. Yeah. Accumulation, manipulation, first stage, second stage, accumulation, first stage, and second stage. Okay. So yeah, guys, it might seem that we will have no opportunity to engage with anything today. Kind of hesitated a little bit here because I was not liking how NQ was trading, and since we were respecting the midpoint of the 1 hour fair value gap, I was still considering lower prices. But yeah, at this point, it seems like we will have no chance to get into something unless we chase anything. And I'm not here to chase. Let me just take a look at these stocks. Yeah, stocks are recovering as well. You take a look at crypto. Yeah, crypto not so much. VIX is going down as well. Yeah, looking at the state of things, we might end up not getting any setup. This will clearly be a move from macro to macro. 950 to 1050. So let me mark 1050 here. 1050 to 1110. Oops. $10.50 to 11.10. So I presume we will end up somewhere around here, around midnight open, or eventually at the top of the wick. We can eventually go for Asia highs, but that seems a little bit stretched. There's not much more time left, but yeah, it can. Yeah, no trades for you as well, right, Francisco? Yeah, um, I guess the best of all, the best setup of them all was right here. And I kind of recognized it, and yeah, I opened my size calculator, but when I saw that I had to have a huge stop here, I kind of, okay, I will probably not engage with it because the risk reward is not that uh, appetizing. So yeah, I didn't take it. Honestly, I didn't take it, and then this mess here, all this mess, I identified it once again here, but yeah, price was tumbling down here a bit, and I was looking into NQ and was not liking how the strongest one was really behaving. And then yeah, we just ripped to the upside, and now we are moving towards, yeah, at this point we will probably, if this continues, we will probably reach for Asia highs. So this was probably the best trade here. This one right here, where I had my stop below this candle. This was the second best, and the best one should be around here. But yeah, the stop was not that good, honestly. So yeah, 1050 and London highs are reached. Top of the wick is reached as well. And the NWOG as well. So we just have Asia highs to reach out for. So I believe we can do a little bit of a stretch to the upside in those next 20 minutes and reach for it. There we go. Let me just check the size of these expansion candles. Yeah, 12 handles. Yeah, quite big for, yes, honestly. Yeah, but those are the ones that you really like to see whenever you're on the right side of the market. Those big expansion candles. Even this stop would be a 10 handle candle, so a 10 handle stop. So 4 micros would be the max that I could eventually go here. So pretty large candles here. And really nice expansion since 9:30. Fortunately, no trades. But I'm not even mad because honestly, I was expecting ES to reach a little bit lower, and was considering the scenario only after taking previous week's low. So that's why I'm not even mad. It is what it is, I guess. So at this point, NQ already reached for Asia highs. And I believe ES will do the same. Just another push and we will get there for sure. It's kind of frustrating to accept the fact that we at some point we already know where the market is heading to, but not be able to engage with it. But yeah, that's something that we have to know how to deal with. It's some of the sorry, I guess those are some of the quests that we as a traders need to fight for. I guess we need to understand that we can't engage with everything that the market presents us. So it can be frustrating, I know, and sometimes I feel that urge to engage with it because at some point you know exactly where it will go, but yeah, you have to fight that urge. So let me just do one more thing that I kind of forgot to do, which was projecting price. Yeah, top notch projection here. Really top notch projection. If I had done it, I would eventually be more secure about the movement uh, whenever we were accumulating here, because price went down here, but it stopped right at 0.5. And whenever we retrace and stop at 0.5, it means that, okay, the market will go towards the direction of the projection. It usually tends to do that. Oh well, there's so many things that as a traders we have to mark and to have in mind that sometimes there's one or two that we forget about. And today I forgot about the projection here. But yeah, as you can see, manipulation leg, manipulation to Judas swing. Price stopped around -1, retraced back to 0.5. 0.5 didn't allow it to go lower. It moved back to 1.5. It made a small pit stop here. And then usually when we are bullish, the -2 will be just a minor pit stop as well. And we will stop around -2.5 with a possibility that we can eventually stretch it to -4. So in terms of liquidity, this -4 would stand for these highs here, which are the highs of the PM session from yesterday's, I guess, the lunch hour session. Okay. Interesting to see. But yeah, I kind of forgot about this, honestly. Guess it's my fault as well. So price now retracing from minus 2.5. So what type of retrace can we expect whenever price reaches 2.5? Well, it usually can retrace back to the silver bullet zone, which is minus 1 to minus 1.5. So it would have some confluence with this fair value gap, which was just retested once. It might have some confluence with the upper half of the bearish fair value gap as well. So a lot of confluences, and eventually one important confluence as well is the first quadrant of the daily wick. If we still think that we are bullish, of course. Price stopping right at the top of the wick, as you can see here. Another algorithmic signature here on price. Just like it did here, where it respected the midpoint. It was not able to trade below it. I mean, it was able to trade, but not to close. So yeah, guys, as we can see, we delivered from 952 to 1050, moved to the upside from macro to macro. So right now, since it stopped right at minus 2.5, and we kind of explored the entirety of the wick, the daily wick, we still have London highs, Asia highs to take here on ES, but the major drawn liquidity is done here. So despite expecting a retrace lower now, since we already hit the minus 2.5 standard deviation and eventually this analog as well, um, I would not advise you to play this short move. It can eventually deliver in a high resistance way. So that's why I would probably not interact with a short move in here. Unless the market gives me something clean and very clear about what its intentions. So probably this bullish fair value gap will be failing. It will probably fail as a bullish fair value gap, but that's quite usual. Let me just see how far NQ went for that run. Yeah, minus 2 standard deviation, 2.5 as well. So there's a possibility here for a short setup, a retrace back inside this inverted fair value gap towards this one right here. It's quite a small range, but it might It might work. But yeah, I'm not the one who will take it. See, this will probably end up be a high resistance towards these lows right here, and it will probably take you a lot of mental capital just to hold this trade down towards this low. So this would be the 1050 macro reversal or retrace. Price coming down here a little bit, but coming back to this inverted fair value gap, retesting it. Where is it? Inversion fair value gap here. So we might get that follow through or another low. Let's see, this is why I don't like to be in this type of environments. As a traders, we should anticipate high resistance conditions, and this might be one of those moments. See, and it might go lower a little bit more, but the conditions are typical from a high resistance. I don't believe it will go straight to the upside right now. it might consolidate a little bit more. But yeah, these conditions are not ideal for, and you are counter trading, so the trend now is bullish. There's some liquidity still available here, so shorting this move, expecting it to go a little bit lower towards a retrace zone. It's always tricky. Hey guys, it's been almost 2 hours here streaming and talking about the charts. I believe we are almost ending here. There was no opportunities for us. I mean, there were some opportunities. The first one here at the breaker, the second one around here, and eventually, but this one I would like. I feel like I would be chasing this one here, but it's a valid one still. So there were about 3 opportunities. The first one I really don't enjoy to play these ones um, on the first minutes of the open. The second one here, this harsh retrace to the downside was kind of hard to swallow. I mean, and then we moved and delivered higher. So in fact, there was just only one that I would have taken something here, which was the retest of the NWOG, I believe. But yeah, just like I said before, we cannot interact with everything that the market gives us. So we have to accept whenever we can interact with it, and whenever we don't we can't. So it's just like this. The market is still accumulating here. So a hard place to be shorting if you are trying to short this. But yeah, we end up the Friday trading session without a trade. Better without a trade than with a loser, I guess. So yeah, guys, I guess that's it. I don't have much more expectations on price. I would like just to see those Asia highs been taken. If the PM session or if the lunch hour just helps, we might go for -4 standard deviation as well. But in terms of lower expectations right now, I don't have much. I had in the first minutes of the stream, I was expecting previous week's low to be taken here on ES as well, but it didn't. So we marched right away to the upside, taking out London highs, expecting now Asia highs to be taken, and I guess that's it. So trying to squeeze it from here, I believe we would be chasing anything here. So that's not what I will do now. Unless we go eventually lower, tapping probably a 15-minute point of interest and then move to the upside, that would allow me to trade anything. But if that will happen, I believe that will only happen in the PM session, because we need some time now just to accumulate once again, to manipulate and then move, eventually continue moving higher. Yeah, stay safe, Francisco. Thank you for being there. Stay safe, brother. Have a nice weekend as well. And of course, thank you for being here. So yeah, guys, I guess that's it. So have a nice weekend. Stay safe. Don't try to force anything. And yeah, I guess see you soon. And see you next Monday, I believe. So same time, 9:20 New York AM local time. And yeah, that's it. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. And don't try to force anything in these last couple of minutes of the trading hours. So thank you. See ya.